Yorkshire for round 5 of the Michelin Porsche Cup. And this championship mixing the best of road and race Porsches, always full of excitement, and the big crowd on hand here. Blustery and cool conditions, but out front it'll be hot action with the Porsche Super Cup machines in Class 1. Nearest the camera, Nigel Rice on pole, Mike Salmon alongside, Craig Rapp and Barbara Armstrong on row 2. The silver and red car of champion Pete Chambers is only third. They get the green light and Chambers away quickly, trying to go around the outside of the second row men, and he goes down the inside of Rapp. It's Nigel Rice who'll take the lead. Rapp in the middle of the sandwich there. Rice bounces over the curbs. Barbara Armstrong runs wide around the outside of the first corner, on board with Paul Mace as we squirrel through the shower of gravel out of Hawthorns and heading up to the chicane, running over the curbs. And there is the front engine car of Chris Healy in the middle of the Class 2 cars. Further back, the couple of Class 3 runners. Well, the class is decided on power and performance. And there is the battle for the lead of Class 2, the pale blue car of Julian Wiley, Kevin Harrison, and side by side with him, we're on board now with Chris Healy. There is Harrison. He's the championship leader in Class 2 and overall. He's been the dominant force in Class 2 here. And he's got more points than any other driver in any other category. Nigel Rice leads, Mike Salmon in second, Craig Rapp third. And up from 5th on the grid into 4th place has come Pete Chambers. Chambers normally right at the front in qualifying. Obviously a little out of sorts here at Croft. On board again with Healy. Front engine in his 944 turbo, and the rear engine car right ahead of him. Kevin Harrison in his 964 Carrera RS. Healy goes out wide at the final hairpin to cut back to the inside. That's the traditional following line. Spins the wheels as he comes out of the corner. Up front, Craig Rapp with Pete Chambers behind there, 3rd and 4th. Oh, Adrian Slater's white-nosed car over the curbs, hits Paul Mace. Amidships. Looks like they're both going to continue though. Oh, and Craig Rapp, wrong into the chicane, thumps the tyres very heavily, snatches first gear. Away he goes very slowly indeed. Finally picking up some speed, up to 70, 80 miles an hour. And again with Chris Healy, following Kevin Harrison. Healy really pushing hard, yellow flags there. Oh, and Harrison has a bobble coming out of the chicane. Healy now takes advantage. He's safe to pass there. And there is Paul Mace. And on board, as we ride with Paul, is Adrian Slater right ahead. Down to the hairpin that ends the lap. Slater went in tight. Paul Mace came in alongside him, got better drive out of the corner, and managed to accelerate alongside him coming down to Clervaux, the first right-handed corner. Of course, Slater's still on the inside line here, and as Mace turns in, Slater bounces across the curbs, loses control, and Mace gets hit amidships. So that's how that one all came about. It was a close race between them before, and still is after the impact. Well, through went Barbara Armstrong as well there. And there you can see Craig Rapp's car, who went off at the chicane about the same time. David Ellis's car in with overheating problems. Adrian Slater comes in as well. And looks as though Slater may be in trouble as a legacy of that contact. And here's David Ellis's car trying to stay out of everybody else's way. And that looks like a fairly major engine failure as a result of those overheating problems. Ellis in the middle of the Class 2 pack. So he hasn't left too much oil around the track. Recovering now from his earlier incident, Craig Rapp. Oh, and at 130 miles an hour, you don't really need somebody moving over on you like that. Worrying moments there for Rapp. He's right behind the battle between Basil Demarutis and Robbie Bernberg. It was Bernberg who moved over on him. Demarutis right ahead. And Rapp's inside Bernberg as they come out of the hairpin. He gets the place there. Read the speed in the digital dash in the middle, up to 100 miles an hour before they cross the line. Let's see how fast he's going, 125 there. He doesn't go for another gear, just holding the car on the limiter before he gets on the brakes for Clervaux. So not bad, out of the hairpin at 40 and 125 by the end of the main straight. tell that these 3.6 litre turbo Super Cup cars are not hanging around anywhere. They're a real handful, these machines, and demand to be treated with respect. Tom Combrink in the 44 car. This is a class battle in Class 2. Andrew Davis, oh dear, bang, bang, bang. Andrew Davis in the 38 machine didn't want to give way there, did he? And Tom had to elbow his way through a little bit unnecessarily firmly. Rice's blue car leading from Salmon's white machine. Adrian Slater back out of the pits after that check over following his collision, ahead of third place Pete Chambers. Then Barbara Armstrong in fourth, Paul Mace in fifth, Basil Demiroutis here in sixth place, Craig Rapp right behind him in seventh, then Robbie Bernberg in eighth place, the yellow and white machine. All these cars Class 1 machines, so all the same spec of racer. Through the Jim Clark S's they come. Demiroutis, an experienced Porsche racer, not in Britain, he's raced these cars in Canada. Now racing here in the UK. In the middle of that battle again with Craig Rapp. Look how tail happy these cars are. Basil Demiroutis' car waving its tail around all the way through Sunny 1 and Sunny 2. Again Craig back up to speed, heading down towards the end of the lap. Here is the Class 2 battle. The 43 machine is Julian Wiley. Chris Healy right behind him. Wiley kicks up the dirt a little. Oh, not as much as Kevin Harrison, though. That's the first major mistake I've seen Harrison make all year, and in danger of losing third place in Class 2 if he's not careful. Something dragging on the bottom of the car. Looks like he's loosened part of it. And there again, running wide, Andrew Davis in his battle with Tom Combrink. Just outfoxed himself a little under braking at Sunny. Oh dear, but not half as much as the 36 machine of Paul Martin did. Martin going a long way off there. And his white car, another of the 944 turbos, being passed incidentally by Ian Croft's Class 3 968 Club Sport, another of the front engine Porsches. Well, here is Chris Healy still holding on for a chance at the lead of Class 2. This would be, if he could take it, his first Class 2 win of the year, and he gets a great run through Hawthorns. Through the chicane, he has the advantage, just misses the tyres. Well, that was great move there by Chris Healy. Replay now of Adrian Slater inside Paul Mace. We've seen it from the outside, we've seen it from the onboard. Here's the reverse angle, boink onto the curbs, bounces across the road, does Adrian Slater, and just avoids getting hit from behind by Barbara Armstrong, who sidles up past and gets them both as they go towards the chicane. So Nigel Rice leading comfortably on the way to his first victory of the year. Mike Salmon, if he can hold on to second, that'll be comfortably his best showing of the season. And Pete Chambers in third place. Adrian Slater a lap down, don't forget, ahead of Barbara Armstrong, the ex-women's rally champion. Pete Chambers won the first 3 races of the year, Adrian Slater the next 3. Chambers struck back last time out and holds a 4-3 advantage in wins, but they've managed to control everybody else. Now riding once more with Paul Mace. Adrian Slater right ahead. And of course Slater a lap behind. Mace trying to get by him to rejoin battle with Barbara Armstrong. Well, Adrian Slater having a big weave all over the road here at Sunny. Is that a legacy still of that collision? He did have the car checked over in the pits. And Paul Mace now trying to go around the outside, but Adrian Slater being very obstructive, as he would be if they were racing for position. Of course they're not. Slater is a lap down. Blue flags will be being waved at him by the marshals, and he really should allow Paul Mace to go through. Well, Mace taking the long, wide route around the hairpin. Slater gets the power down a little earlier, and Mace gesticulating at the marshals at the start-finish line, going, get this guy out of my way. Nigel Rice yet to win this season, but on target for it. Mike Salmon holding second. Pete Chambers closing, and it's always worrying when Pete Chambers closes from behind. Barbara Armstrong fourth. Adrian Slater well out of the action. Paul Mace in fifth place. And here's the battle for sixth. Basil Demiroutis leading from Craig Rapp. Rapp started third on the grid, but that's big damage on the left front of the car, a legacy of thumping the tyres heavily at the chicane. Didn't help him at all. 125 miles an hour as they come onto the brakes at Tower, down 2 gears in a very hurried change. Craig Rapp coming in very late indeed under braking, just squeezes by. This is the battle for third in Class 2. Graham Hellier, the blue car, chasing Kevin Harrison, still dragging the under tray of the car all over the floor. Goes down the inside and through he goes. Picks up third spot in Class 2. His 993 Carrera, more modern version of Harrison's car. Look really quite different. You can see the evolution, the smoothening, lowering and widening of Porsche's venerable 911. Tom Combrink being given the "We're watching your conduct" flag by the marshals as a result of his incident earlier on, I'm sure. Second place man Mike Salmon, with Pete Chambers getting ever closer. Time starting to run out though in the timed race. Oh dear, and Tom Combrink losing it as he exits the chicane. Tail of the car getting away from him and flinging him round in a huge tank slapper. Oh dear, oh dear. Yes, sort of like that, but faster. Calm down, Tom, for goodness sake. And loses all the places he made up with that hard work earlier on. On board with Paul Mace then, and he's let Adrian Slater go. Clearly he felt there was no chance of getting past Slater and catching Barbara Armstrong. And better to drop back a little bit and let Slater play silly beggars all on his own. Closing stages, Nigel Rice flashing his headlights at the camera as he heads towards victory. Mike Salmon more worried about what's in the mirror, and that's the blazing headlights of Pete Chambers. Salmon has every right to be worried. Chambers in great form this year, the reigning champion. And not just the winner of Class 1 last year, the overall champion came from Class 1 as well. Paul Mace ahead of Craig Rapp and Basil Demarutis. And the yellow and white car of Robbie Bernberg back in 8th place. But it's going to be close at the line between Mike Salmon and Pete Chambers. Nigel Rice is back right off, but he's still comfortably ahead as he heads towards the finish line. But Mike Salmon with Pete Chambers right behind him. It'll be very close indeed. Checkered flag for Nigel Rice, his first win of the year. Mike Salmon takes his best result in second ahead of Chambers. And still chasing further back down the order, Paul Mace, as he starts to lap the tail enders. Paul Martin's Class 2 944 Turbo doesn't present any problems for him. Paul Mace takes 5th overall behind Barbara Armstrong. Chris Healy wins Class 2 from Julian Wiley and Graham Hellier, and Ian Croft wins Class 3. So confirmation of that result then, with Nigel Rice atop the standings, and in the championship Rice is second placed to Class 2 runaway leader Kevin Harrison, with Adrian Slater in third overall.